Hey guys! Today I will show you the short recap of an English-language Polish spy film titled, The Coldest Game. Get ready for the best part. Of course, the spoilers. This movie story is a work of fiction, and it's about an alcoholic professor who is forcefully recruited to play in a United States-Soviet Union chess match against his will. However, he finds himself trapped in a crime scene world of game and survival. Watch the full video to know how he overcame and escaped all the obstacles he faced during this deadly game. Before getting into the video, make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for daily updates. The movie begins with a text written on the screen explaining the US and Soviet relations during the Cold War in the early 1960s. With a likely nuclear global war looming, President Kennedy is being informed of the increased Soviet military activity in 1962. The opening scene shows the stage of a grandmaster chess match, and one of the players walking towards the table to sit close to his opponent. The man looks disturbed as he sits on the chair, and a blood stain is seen on his hands. The next scene begins with events that occurred 7 days earlier, prior to the main event. The protagonist Joshua Mansky, also known as a professor, discusses with a taxi driver who drops him at his apartment. As soon as the taxi driver leaves, a car stops close to the professor's apartment. In the next scene, we see the professor, Mansky, switch off the TV news of a man discussing about a tournament match held in Warsaw, Poland. Mansky complains he can't play hearing all those crap as he sits with some men to play a card game. He wins the card game and takes the money to meet the barman, who gives him his pay cut from the money. A lady known to be Agent Stone appears to him and talks about recognizing him as a former champion chess player, and also being one of his students. She tells him about a proposition she had, but he leaves the bar and is seen attacked by some men, who bundle him in a car. They drug him and take him on board a plane to another town. The next scene shows that they are 5 days earlier to the main event, and Agent Stone is seen discussing with a man about Mansky being a genius at chess, and defeating their main player Königsberg twice 20 years ago. Professor Mansky is seen in a glass soundproofed box safe room in the US Embassy. He meets with the lady he saw at the bar together with two men, Agent White and Agent Novak, who is the operation leader. Agent White tries to talk to him about a confidential plan, but Mansky cuts in and says he assumes they want him to pretend to be Königsberg, the man who is supposed to play the grand chess match but dies mysteriously. Agent Stone confirms all his assumptions and then tells him about the regulations rule that allows them to replace Königsberg with another player, and he is the only one eligible to play. Professor Mansky agrees to play, and when Agent Stone and Agent White come to brief him about the game day, he asks them to give him some time to rest if they want him to win. Later that day, they break into his room and find out he knocked out after taking too much alcohol. They then use an amphetamine derivative to make him regain consciousness for his first appearance in the chess game match. The Soviet Chess Committee agreed to the US substitute player due to Königsberg's death, and the news was also announced at the game venue. Professor Mansky appears at the stage during a minute silence for Königsberg, and then after the table for the first stage match was set. The announcer tells the audience about the games and how the points would be allocated. Alexander Gavrilov, the Russian opponent in the chess game, makes his first move, but when it gets to Mansky's turn, he gets confused after seeing about 8,900 responses at once, and he leaves the stage. In the next scene, a man is seen discussing with Agent Novak about how Mansky's intake of alcohol seems to help him slow down his brain activity to a normal person. Mansky and the other agents lodge in the hotel venue of the game, the Palace of Culture and Science. The hotel director, Alfred Sega, welcomes them all to the hotel. Later that night, General Major Krutov, Russian counterintelligence, tells Alfred to take good care of Mansky, and he agrees. The next scene shows that they are 4 days earlier to the main event, and Mansky is seen waking up late at night and heading to meet Agent Stone. He asks about what happened with the game and then recalls about his meeting with the hotel director earlier that morning. Agent Stone narrates the whole story of how he won the game after 32 moves, and his opponent stomping out off the stage as the audience gave him a standing ovation. In the next scene, Gavrilov goes to meet General Krutov about his disappointing performance, but Krutov encourages him that there are still more games to go for him to prove himself. General Krutov then orders the hotel director via a phone call to stop providing alcohol to Mansky. In the next scene, the agents and Mansky are at the Royal Baths Palace, and Mansky is seen dancing with Agent Stone. General Krutov arrives at the scene, and Agent Novak tries to go meet him, but Agent White stops him and then describes who he actually is. While they were about to leave, Professor Mansky took an alcoholic drink into his suit. The next scene shows the second stage of the chess game, and while playing, Mansky is distracted by a hypnotist hired by General Krutov, and he concedes the game. Agent White goes after the hypnotist, but he is stopped by a member of the Soviet group who threatens him with his pregnant wife and family. A fight ensues at the elevator stand, and the hotel director calms the issue. Later that day, Agent White tells Agent Stone about his incident with the Soviet group. He then tells her about seeing Gift, a Soviet officer who worked with the Americans before he was stopped. She asks how they could identify him, but he says he would have to contact the headquarters about it. At night, Alfred sneaks in to meet with Mansky with some alcohol, and they seem to quickly get along together and form a friendship. He helps him hide an alcohol in the toilet against the main chess event the next day. He then sneaks Mansky out of the hotel through the Warsaw sewers, and Mansky gets to learn about the geography of the city. Some Soviet troops come to meet them while discussing, and they see a red book on Alfred that allows immunity, and he then orders them to leave. Mansky then gets to meet with Alfred's friends in a bar, and he tells Mansky that they all cheer for him and not the Russian. The following day, Mansky receives a call, and it is seen that the Soviets now have access to everything he did or said in his room. Agent White comes to meet him, and he tries to let him know that the room has been bugged and then tells him about a man that would come to meet him in Soviet uniform and has a scar on the back of his right hand. Agent White suddenly vomits, and it becomes apparent that he has been poisoned. Professor Mansky is devastated about this and cannot attend the chess match. Agent Stone helps him to cancel the match by making them announce he has health conditions. While in a car, Agent Stone explains to Professor Mansky that Königsberg died the same way as Agent White. She tells him that the Soviets used ricin to kill them both. The next scene shows the agents and Mansky in the safe room. Agent Novak tells Mansky about John Gift, a high-ranking Soviet officer. He tells him they are there because of Gift, and he is involved in dealings with the countries in the Warsaw Pact. Agent Stone cuts in and tells him that Gift was going to deliver the blueprints with the warheads to their guys in Moscow, but they almost got caught. She then tells him the situation prompted them to move the game to Warsaw as they knew Gift would be there for the Warsaw Pact conference. They then make him understand that Agent White was the only one that had contact with him. In the next stage of the chess match, Mansky is seen looking around at some men in Soviet uniforms while playing. A bell then rings for a 15-minute break, and Professor Mansky goes to the toilet. He takes the alcohol drink Alfred kept for him, and as he returns it back, he sees a man who hands over a cock to him. Agent Stone suddenly appears, and Professor Mansky shows her the cork. As she leaves the toilet, another man appears and kills her with the man that gave Mansky the cork. The next scene shows Professor Mansky returning to the stage to continue the game. He looks pretty sound back due to the alcohol he took and then calls the judge as he proposes a draw. Gavrilov rejected the draw, and the game continued. However, Professor Mansky was able to get the best moves out of the game. He then called the judge once more to propose a draw, which Gavrilov accepted and applauded him. The game then ends on a 2-2 draw. General Krutov is later seen announcing to an audience that chess won over politics, and he sends good luck to the player who wins the next day. Professor Mansky meets with Alfred for his help in getting to go outside the hotel to meet with someone. Alfred is not able to go with him, and then he hands over the red book to him, saying it opens every door in the country. Professor Mansky is then seen leaving the hotel through the secret exit Alfred once took him through. The next scene shows Professor Mansky in the safe room with Agent Novak. Mansky explains the events in the toilet to Novak and then shows him the cork that Gift and another man gave him. He also tells him about the word Rekharovka. Agent Novak gets to know that Agent Stone is a traitor and then realizes that the Soviets know much about them. Agent Novak is able to get the messages from both corks and tells Mansky about it. In order to confirm that the Soviet group has not deceived them, President Kennedy tries to communicate with Professor Mansky by sending a message to him. Professor Mansky then delivers his message with John Gift to the president through a riddle. Later that day, the president ordered all kinds of ships bound for Cuba with offensive weapons to be turned back. General Krutov sees that one of his men and Agent Stone has been killed. He also then sees the alcohol in the toilet. Professor Mansky asks Agent Novak what Rekharovka means, and he tells him castling, but when Professor Mansky tells him Gift wanted him to know that, he tells him it means imminent danger. One of General Krutov's men informs him about the blockade, and he tells him to send the hotel director to come to see him. General Krutov then tortures him for helping Professor Mansky. The next scene shows the final stage of the chess match tournament, But Professor Mansky does not arrive for the game and is seen in a Soviet uniform leaving the hotel through the secret exit. General Krutov and his men see Professor Mansky as he is about to come out of the secret exit. As Krutov is about to shoot Professor Mansky, Agent Novak comes to stop him and informs him that Mansky is an American citizen who has been guaranteed immunity. General Krutov then tells Mansky he will find him one day, and he leaves with his men. The next scene then shows Alexander Gavrilov being announced as the tournament winner due to Professor Mansky not showing up. Agent Novak and Professor Mansky then fly back to the USA. They are then seen in a car, and Agent Novak stops by to get something and gives Professor Mansky a present before leaving the car. The movie ends with Gift coming inside the car to meet Professor Mansky. He thanks Mansky and returns the red book that belongs to Alfred, the hotel director. Professor Mansky gives Gift the present Novak gave him and leaves the car. Then the credits explain that Ronald Reagan and Mikhail Gorbachev signed an agreement to eliminate nuclear weapons threats and end the Cold War. So that's it for today, guys. Hope you had an awesome day, and do not forget to cheer people around you. If you like the video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for daily content like this.